This LMG is absolutely insane. Almost 70,000 DPS with normal steel bullets. And I'm even missing the final mod to make it perfect. We're talking about the MG4 Predator. Not the KVD Boom, because that one is trash, I'm sorry. What has made the Predator so good and why is it amazing? This is because of the effect called Fastgunner. It's a continuous buff. While the skill is in effect, each stack grants fire rate plus 1% and attack plus 1% for 2 seconds, and it can stack up to 5 times. That doesn't sound that good. It's 5% more fire rate and 5% more attack. Unless we're pairing this together with another amazing item. This is the Oasis Mask. Fastgunner stacks plus 10 and attack plus 1% per stack, which means we're suddenly going to have 15 stacks on the gun, 30% more attack damage, and 15% more fire rate. And the gun simply triggers it with a 40% chance. So the more fire rate we have, the quicker we get Fastgunner stacked up on top of each other. Now that's not all what the gun does. By hitting the same target multiple times, you get 2% damage per hit, up to 40%. Perfect against any kind of boss, just blasting with high fire rate away. Did I mention that every time you reach 5 Fastgunner stacks, you get infinite ammo for 0.5 seconds? And now we got 5, 10, 15, 3 instances of getting bonus damage. Now hold on, we're not done yet. You're gonna get 40% more damage for the first 50% of your magazine roughly. And if we pair this together with a Bestie set, that means we're alone getting another 80% weapon damage on all the bonuses we have received already. Now there's a problem with the gun though we had to fix. If you take off all the attachments and actually shoot on a certain distance, the bullets are all over the place. ADSing makes it a bit better, but you don't always want to ADS. Yet though, this is quite wibbly wobbly. We get amazing attachments though, and you want to push accuracy forward, if that's actually how you pronounce it. Sorry, I'm German. That's already plus 19 and aiming speed plus 12%. Then with an optic, you can put in a little bit of zoom, and I like to actually take the 2 times zoom here for most of my things. That's just a wee bit of stability. That's the recoil the gun is pulling up. And with the magazine, we can crank out even more accuracy and some reload speed. It's not worth it to get more mag capacity by plus 20. We're already sitting with our attachments at 98 bullets. And lastly, we can push this up to 91 in total with the large break. And suddenly our hip fire looks more like this, like an absolute laser beam. And if we're ADSing down, we're just one straight line up. That makes it so much more convenient to shoot any weak spot. Mentioning weak spot, we're actually pairing this together with a Black Panther. We'll get to this later. First, we're going to roll down which mods you need for the Predator to go crazy. And the first one is actually the Shootout Precision. When triggering Fastgunner, weapon damage plus 1.5% for 10 seconds up to 20 stacks. That's another 30% damage. And in this case, I get magazine capacity plus 10%. Do look at the bonuses. Weak spot damage, magazine capacity, damage versus bosses is increased. Now there is another one that is interesting, and it's called Precision Rush. When Fastgunner is active, increase weak spot damage while continuously shooting for 3 seconds up to 45%. I like this, but as soon as you shoot something without a weak spot, it kind of sucks, whereas the shootout always works. It's just straight weapon damage boosting. Then on our helmet, we're currently stacking weak spot damage, another 36% in total, with even more magazine capacity. Technically, I want the momentum up. Fire rate plus 8% or 10% for the first 50% of the magazine, and weapon damage plus 25% for the next 50% of the magazine. That would fit perfectly for this gun as well, as we just shoot faster to get to the second part of the mag, lose the 40% damage, get another 25% damage. More fire rate works really well, but this is also a simple 36% bonus damage. Both are nice. Choose in this case the better one you have in upgraded. The mask now is missing the perfect one. We do have a good one. When in Fastgunner state, another 30% weak spot damage. But there's something better, and it's called the Blitzkrieg. Fastgunner stacks another 5 times. And think about it, what does 5 more Fastgunner stack means? Another 5% more fire rate and 10% more damage. But not only that, because this will provide additional fire rate plus 1% for each stack. That means now a total of 20 stacks, 40% fire rate, and 40% attack. Oh boy, this is so good compared to a measly bonus 30% weak spot damage. On the gloves, it's a simple crit amplifier. Don't worry, we'll get to the set pieces in a bit. The crit amplifier gives us the 10% bonus crit rate and 15% bonus damage. Now, the thought behind this is that you essentially can always do damage, no matter if it's a weak spot or not a weak spot. If you fully want to focus on weak spots though, you can just put on the munitions amplifier with another 15% bonus damage. But do look at the substats. This one has 7.2% mag capacity, and this one would have another 15% crit damage. Yeah, like this is 30% crit damage alone from the crit amplifier. Works really well to just have weak spot crits up to 10,000 and above, which is quite nice. The pants has multiple choices. I'm currently playing the bonus of 20% damage after you have shot 20 bullets. It's not good, it's not bad. What would be better is technically playing Unstoppable. That's another 20% weak spot damage, and if I'm standing 40 meters away from the target, it's another 20% weak spot damage. The problem with this again is only weak spot damage, whereas the bullet siphon, it's less damage, but it's continuous damage that just goes on and on and on. And on the shoes, we're having Covered Advance. Taking no damage within 4 seconds grants 20% melee weapon and status damage. That can be sometimes tricky to pull through. And maybe you just want to have slow and steady. Melee weapon status damage 8%, and when HP is above 90%, another 8% additional damage. That's 100%, always 8%, and most of the time, the bonus too. Might be better. Lastly, on the chest, you simply want the best substats. I don't actually care about which mod I'm taking. I do try to play Rejuvenating as it heals me when you kill something, but right now we're playing Quick Comeback because this is another 10% mag capacity. More bullets, more boomf. So if I find one like Status Immune with weak spot damage and then magazine capacity together, and I can actually upgrade this meaningful, might just simply replace it. Now, as I said, we're playing 3 BST pieces because that's 10% weapon damage, reload speed, which we actually need as an LMG, and then if we crouch, we get 40% bonus damage. And the good thing is, the 40% bonus damage is just crouch, instantly active. And it perfectly works for the sniper as well, as the Black Panther needs to ADS down for 3 seconds for maximum damage, and as you then crouch, you can actually crank out really high banger hits on top of everything you're actually dealing. The build does work without the Oasis mask, but the Oasis mask just makes it ultra good. If you find the MG4 Predator and just simply want to try this out, don't worry, you don't need it, but it just amplifies it to heaven. The last 2 pieces are currently running the Falcon gloves for rolling stamina cost minus and crit damage plus 12%. This can be replaced. Optimally, I would like to have 2 pieces of the Lone Wolf set for the mag capacity and crit rate. That's perfect for the build. Just mag capacity and crit rate, and the Lone Wolf set is anyways good. Alternative Renegade would have reload speed and weak spot damage, which is very nice too. But if you don't have another legendary set, it would either be the Agent set for the weak spot damage or the Scout Hood for simple max HP and bonus weapon damage, which then goes hand in hand again with doing always damage and not just versus weak spots. And we talked about attachments, and what you truly want is the muzzle brake, as it gives you the huge amount of accuracy. You do not actually care about stability because that's just your recoil going up and you simply have to pull your mouse down. It also gives us a bonus range. For this item, it is Westfall, Forsaken Giant, Monolith, and then between the Prime War and the Monolith, on this coordinates, you will be finding a billboard that you'll have to align in your vision, and then you get yourself the break. Laser Sight is boosting accuracy even more by another 19%. You could technically go for the stability, but the accuracy is just so much better. For this one, you need a Molotov, and we're going from Blackfell City to the Rift Anchor 73 extraction point, got the teleporter, and then under these coordinates, 2,865 and minus, you will find these vines. You just Molotov them, burn them, boom. Now, your sight is a deeply personal thing, and I just like my little reflex sight that just makes everything so much easier to look at. And yes, we're almost getting up to that 70,000 DPS. It's crazy. I'm using the sealed reflex sight as I can shoot something far and close up. And if I need to go further, I swap over to the tactical rifle scope. But the sealed reflex sight works for most things the best. Keep in mind that all these attachments will go over with you into the next season. So simply unlock everything. For this item, we're traveling to the Monolith of Thirst, where the Shadowhound is, and there is a hospital right on these coordinates. Inside, you will find a riddle with a telephone, where you have to pick up the telephone, walk into another room, and align the objects next to each other. One and done. Lastly, we get the magazine, and that is another billboard for you. Right next to the last coordinates we just picked up, on this one, you'll find another of these billboards, and you can just knock out 2 items with 1 travel. Now, the fun part is that your Memetic Cradle actually boosts sniping and gunner at the same time, because steady hand while in Fortress Warfare, that's my sniper, or Fastgunner status, that's the LMG, weak spot damage plus 40%. So no matter what I do of the 2 guns, they will be stronger. Now, sadly, there's nothing else for Fastgunner of Fortress Warfare. But what you can do is 20% more damage to your sniper rifle. We can get having it fight alongside grounds damage plus 50% against deviants. Fantastic. Deviation Master going crazy. Rapid aid, getting the healing cooldown down. 25% damage plus after reloading. And that works really well with the high fire rate we're going for in the LMG. Then we get steady hand with a 40% bonus damage. We get more damage after throwing a tactical. So just simply throw a throwing knife or a Molotov and then blast away with your LMG. In these 15 seconds, your fire rate is going to be amplified to the max with more LMG damage. Easy clap, reload 10% of the magazine capacity from reserve up and defeating an enemy. And since we have 100 bullets, reloading 10% up and defeating an enemy, that's fantastic. That's 10 bullets, and I don't take 10 bullets to kill something. I can sometimes just simply go infinite. Lastly, movement speed plus 5%, running stamina cost minus 15. Why not? Just take it. Now, calibration is a tricky topic though for the LMG, and I am struggling to find the good one. My current calibration is stability plus 40%. That is just my recoil less, which is useless, and I get crit rate and crit damage, which is actually good. What I would rather have is another 7.5% fire rate, accuracy minus, but we boosted this up as much as we could, and then another fire rate boost by 7.5%. This is just the purple version. Now, you could be taking the 25% bonus damage, but lower your mag capacity. I don't want to lower my mag capacity, simple as cake, because I want to rather have the biggest mag possible to then blast away with that 40% bonus damage as I have more bullets in my mag continuously on the MG4 Predator as the standard ability. And by the way, if you don't have the Bestie set, but you possess the Lone Wolf set with a full crit stacking, that one works equivalently well on that LMG build, because we're simply critting away with a super high fire rate and the Fastgunner weapon buff stacks, stacking up that Lone Wolf in like no time. My favorite part about Fastgunner at Fortress Warfare is if I'm crafting the super special tungsten ammo and I actually choose to then go for platinum crystals, we'll get another 25% bonus damage plus 15% per shot. Think about it. Currently, our standard steel LMG bullets are giving us a 5% bonus. And with the absolute endgame super bullets, well, that is looking like a 40% bonus to my bullets. So I'm doing like 68,000 DPS at this very moment without my perfect mod and the perfect bullets. And as a deviant, we're actually using the Wolf. Why the Wolf? He tanks and keeps things away from us. But with his auto attack, he would increase the weapon damage by 27%. And the bigger the skill rating, not the activity rating, the bigger the skill rating, the more the weapon damage is. Just as an example of we're taking things serious, this is Lea Labs and I'm doing literally 3 times the damage off everyone else with this build. That's not bragging, that's just simply telling you how efficient the gun is. This is possible for everyone. I'm not doing anything special, I just stack the right things together. And now to put the cherry on top, you can play the Black Panther together with this if you feel like sniping at any given point. And this gun is for free. You just go to the Tall Grass Inn level 35 area next to the Wolf Monolith and you clear the Furnace Lair and get the Mystical Crate. Boom. That's the AWS Black Panther, and if you aim down sight for 3 seconds, you get Fortress Warfare, which is a 25% damage buff, together with another 30% bonus damage if you aim down sight for 3 seconds, plus the 40% weak spot damage, plus the stacking weak spot damage, plus the 40% damage from the Bestie, plus the bonus crit damage that we're anyways getting from the Falcon Gloves and the crit rate, and that you can actually do weak spot crits with a gun. Nice. And for the calibration, you're going to go for the rapid shot style, which simply is another 40% bonus. And since we're picking up all the mag capacity, we can go up to 7 bullets in the long run. And if we're now waiting for 1, 2, 3 to actually have the max bonus, you can just really quick actually shoot away. Sniping is just feeling nice. And since your Fortress Warfare lasts for 5 seconds, you're essentially going to blast a whole magazine empty in these 5 seconds, swap over to LMG, shoot a bit, go back to the sniper, and you have a very good build that can do it both. And for the Black Panther, we have a very interesting mod, and that is when Fortress Warfare ends, weapon damage plus 10% and movement speed plus 10%, just allowing us to zoom a bit faster just after we're done blasting out our damage. Alternative, you can also use the sniper to clear rabble with headshots and the durable territory, because if you kill someone with the sniper, you get another 5 seconds of Fortress Warfare, up to 5 times stacking, and Fortress Warfare gives you hyper armor that you can't actually get staggered out of it. So the longer you're inside, the more hyper armor you have, the more damage reduction you're having, the better it is that you're just standing there with your sniper and quick scoping everything away. Sniper getting in this case the large break, and I get a couple of optics here. And I get a couple of optics for lower zooms, just if I want to use it for quick sniping like the 4 times. And then with the tactical sniper rifle mag, we get even more reload speed and mobility if we need to zoom around. And yes, everything was shot with steel ammo as well. So missing that 40% bonus damage with the tungsten AP ammo. The locations for these final attachments you can easily find with the interactive map, like large break, which tells you perfectly where it is and what you do actually have to do. Now go out there, ladies and gentlemen, and send the hordes of deviants into hell. And if you're looking for more tips from my 200 hours of experience or a Memetic specialization tier list that we can discuss in the comments a lot, check it out. Thank you very much for watching and have a fantastic good day.